Good morning, everyone. So yesterday we completed this chapter half. We completed only till need of mass media. Okay. So today we will continue from where. Okay. Uh, Please, everyone, it's my humble request. Check out your notebook, pencil. If you want, you can also remove your textbook. Okay. And yes, yesterday nobody have asked me the doubts of the chapter mass media. Today again I am giving you a opportunity. Again I am giving you a time so that you think, and please clear your doubts, your questions, whatever you have, you can solve it. Okay. So don't hesitate for asking questions or doubts. You are most welcome. Okay. So let's start with the chapter. First, we will have a quick recap of the chapter part which we completed yesterday. Okay. So here, yesterday we started with the chapter mass media. In that, first we completed the introduction of mass media. In introduction, that is the first saying the meaning of the term mass media. So students, the term mass media is a combination of two different terms, that is mass and media. Whereas mass means aggregation of people, that is a group of people, and media, that is the various modes of communication. Okay, in the introduction part, they have also mentioned that how in earlier time, how when the monarchical system we were having, in that time, how the government how the king used to convey the message, how the king used to announce any notice or any important information. How that is in the image, you can see that is a crier. Now, who is a crier? Crier is a person who carries the drum. He just bang the drum and call out the people and convey the message given by the king. Okay, so this is called as crier. And that time earlier, there is no way of written communication. So only one mode of communication, that is a word of mouth, oral communication. Orally, you can convey the message that way. Then we did the history of mass media. In history of mass media, the printing technology and the newspaper were introduced in India after the arrival of British. So before British, there was no concept of newspaper. After Britishers came, then they introduced the printing technology, and after we got the printing technology, we started with the concept of newspaper. And this one also marked this, that is the newspaper was the first mass medium of circulating information and knowledge, right? So this was the history of mass media. Then we did the also we completed the concept of newspaper. That is, what is newspaper? Newspaper is basically, it is a publication which mainly prints the news. That is the first thing, first priority which is given in the newspaper, that is the news, the current events which is happening in the surrounding, those things. Then the editorial page, that is the editor's page. Then the people's opinion, what all the great thinkers, scholars, and scientists, and many such great personality, what are their view, what are their opinion, all those things are also written in the newspaper. Then the entertaining or the other supplementary content, like for example, if I'll give you the entertaining, so many of you all reading a newspaper. In that, the Times of India, may we have the Bombay Times. Again, that is the entertaining part. And also you get the games. like I know many of you all not playing the games in the newspaper. You all play games in the mobile phone, but trust me that in newspaper a column is there, Sudoku, which is really very interesting. Okay, you can try that. That is also the entertaining part. And after that, the newspaper is not like it is printed in a 2 weeks or in a week or in a monthly basis or twice I'm to within 2 days one newspaper. No, newspaper is on daily basis, and it is printed on a definite time. It's not necessary that the newspaper carries the information only in your surrounding. Okay, like for example, you are staying in Mumbai, so the newspaper will carry the information only about Mumbai. Is it? No, no. Newspaper carries the information of Mumbai also, Maharashtra also, India also, as well as the other countries' information as well. Okay, so that is it works on the local, national, as well as at a international level. Okay, then the newspaper, the next that is the precursor of newspaper. Yesterday, as I said, that the precursor means that earlier how it was, how what was the substitute of newspaper before that. Here, that is in this part, various country ka example is given, how in different countries they were carrying. The first one is the Egypt. In Egypt, what the king or the royal people used to do, they used to inscript Egypt of placing inscriptions with the royal decrees at a public places. So that is with the royal stamp and the like signature and all. They used to place do the inscription on the pillars or something on the in the public. People come and read. Then same thing was carried by the Emperor Ashoka. Why? Because Emperor Ashoka thinking was that he is going to inscript the information on the pillar. Why? Because in future also people should come to know about Emperor Ashoka. So he also used to inscript it on the pillars. And the next one, that is in Rome, what used to happen, the information was written on a paper, a small paper, and it was distributed in all the regions, like that, like one to one it was distributed. And various events taking place, and now what they were writing in that paper, that is a various events which was taking place. Either it is good or bad, whatever events was happening, it was written on that paper. Then the Julius Caesar's reign, during the Julius Caesar, during that period, this one, the newspaper used to known as acta diurna. Acta, that is the action, diurna, that is on the daily. So whatever action was happening on a daily basis, again that was written. Then after that, in England, they used to distribute the handouts occasionally by giving the information about the wars and the important events. That time, as we know, that many war used to come, capture, war used to happen, and international war also. Many revolutions used to come. So all these was written, and also the important events, remarkable events, what was happening, again that was also recorded in the handouts. So the travelers arriving from the far away would add spice to the stories. Like for example, if I am going to England, so whatever I am getting to know, I will add some more information according to me, I'll add and I'll convey it in my country. Again, that becomes the news. So, and also the ambassador who was coming to different countries, they also used to get the information and pass it to the their royal king. Now, Till here, that was a precursor of newspaper. Then we completed the Bengal Gazette. Bengal Gazette, which was the first newspaper and was printed on 29th January 1780. Earlier, the name was Calcutta General Advertiser. Then later on, it became the Bengal Gazette. By whom it was started? It was started by James Augustus Hickey. Who was he? He was the Irish gentleman. Okay, very simple. In this paragraph, what you need to remember, that is the Bengal Gazette, what it was. It was the first English newspaper. When it was printed, that was on 29th January 1780. And the name, both the names and by whom it was started. Very simple. Many times we have done this. Then the Darpan. Darpan, the another newspaper which was started in 1832. 1832 in Mumbai by Bal Shastri Jambekar, and he started the newspaper, and also he was the editor of that newspaper. And what the Darpan used to print, on which kind of news they used to focus? They used to focus on the political, economic, social, and the cultural events of those times. I have already explained you what is economic, political, and social cultural. Still, if you have any doubt, please note it down in your notebook, and after the explanation, I'll solve. Okay. Then the next one, that is the few titles which are given over here. That from these titles only, students, you can understand on which kind of news does the Darpan focus, right? That is accounts of the expenditure from the three administrative division of the East India Company, the danger of the Russian attack on the nation, appointment of the committee for the cleanliness of the city, remarriage of Hindu widows, the inception of the theatre at Calcutta, then the achievements of Raja Ram Mohan Roy in England. So all these titles shows you that which kind of topic, which kind of issues or news they were focusing. Okay, that is for the welfare for the people, for bringing the development. They used to focus on such kind of news. Okay, so this was all about Darpan. Then next we completed the Prabhakar. Prabhakar, the another newspaper which was started by Bhau Mahajan. Okay, so the here Prabhakar, the newspaper, it used to focus the first thing, that is on the French Revolution, how the revolution used to took place in France, which kind of actions they took, all that. And the next one, that is the Shatpatre. Now, Shatpatre, it is letters by Lokhitwadi. Lokhitwadi, that is Gopal Hari Deshmukh. So this was a letters written by Gopal Hari Deshmukh, and it helped for creating the social awareness among the people and those. That is why it was printed in the newspaper. Then the next we completed Dhyanodaya. Dhyanodaya, again, another newspaper, which it was the first newspaper to print the map of Asia and Europe. The map of the Asia was printed in 1842, and the map of the Europe was printed in 1851. So this was really the work of honor to print the map for the first time in that newspaper. Again, now they print, which kind of news they printed? They printed the first installation of telegraph service. They printed that news. Then they also printed when the railway was started in India by the title of Chakya Masoba. So they focus on this, and they also brought into limelight the news of the Indian War of Independence. So all such kinds of news were focused in Dhyanodaya. And the newspaper in those times were a medium of creating social awareness. Yes, students, because that time people socially, they were not so much aware. Many things they were not knowing about their rights, about their duties, so many things, what is good, what is bad for them. So newspaper was helping in creating the social awareness. And a newspaper named Indu Prakash, it supported the widow remarriage. Widow remarriage, as you all know, that that time the conditions of widows were terrible. So these newspaper, the which the Prakash focused in a big way on the widow remarriage. And the Deen Bandhu newspaper, that is for the Dalit community, for for them it was for the upliftment of Deen Bandhu, upliftment of the Dalit community. This Deen Bandhu used to focus, that is a Bahujan Samaj, and it was started by Mahatma Jyotirao Phule's close associate Krishna Bhalekar. Right. So this was all about the Dhyanodaya and the Indu Prakash. The next one, Kesari and Maratha. Kesari and Maratha, the two newspaper indicative of an important stage in the history of Indian newspaper before the independence. So this was a two newspaper which started before independence, and it was started by Gopal Ganesh Agarkar and the Bal Gangadhar Tilak in 1881. They also used to focus on the social and the political issues of that time, and Kesari published the articles about the nationwide. They also printed the books in the native languages. Yes, students, as yesterday I explained you the meaning of this one, native languages. The regional, that is the regional language which people mostly understand. In that languages, they printed the books so that the main intention was that the language should not become the barrier in the social awareness. So in the 21st century, newspaper have continued to fulfill an important role. It was acknowledged the fourth column of democracy, fourth column or fourth pillar of democracy. That is, newspaper is the fourth pillar of democracy. It is very, very important. It newspaper, it has given the fourth pillar title because it creates a transparency among the government and the people, which is very important. Yes. So the next one, that is the magazine and the journals. Magazines and the journals, that here the newspaper, magazines and journals, all three are different. Let me clear that the newspaper is on daily basis. Magazine, it depends on a certain particular time period. And journal, that is it deals with one particular topic. It doesn't cover the whole information. It deals with one particular topic, one particular concept. So the magazines and the journals are the periodicals publication. These category includes publication which are weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly, 6 monthly, annual, etc. So that is we did this part yesterday. Weekly, that is once in a week, bi-weekly, twice in a week, monthly, once in a month, bi-monthly, twice in a this one in 2 months, one magazine. Then quarterly, that is three magazines in a year. 6 monthly, that is two magazines in a year. And annual means one magazine in a year. So it is all about that. Then there may be some chronicles which are published at no fixed time. So there are also some exceptional case. There are some magazines are also there which don't have a fixed time. Anytime they can come. Yes. Then the Bal Shastri Jambekar started the first monthly magazine in Marathi. Students, please underline that. Who started the first monthly magazine, Bal Shastri Jambekar. It was named as a Digdarshan. Among the periodicals, Pragati, now a defunct journal, was started in 1929 and edited by Trayambak Shankar Shizwalkar. He wrote regularly in a historiographical journal. So here, that is Digdarshan was the first Marathi journal, magazine, and the Pragati was the defunct journal, which was started in 1929. Again, that is before independence. So currently there are many periodicals devoted to the Indian history. Marathi journals such as Bharati Itihas, Ani Sanskriti, and Marathwada Itihas Parishad Patrika, and may be cited an example. So they have given the example of the Bharatiya Itihas, Ani Sanskriti, and Marathwada Itihas, that from the title only we can understand the what does the magazine talks about, what it is written, right? So this was all about the journal and the magazine. Now let's start with the electronic and the digital journalism. In this, till radio we completed yesterday, let's have a quick recap in that also. These are the ultra modern periodicals of the part of the electronic journalism. History is a prime subject of the interest for these periodicals as well. Many web news portals, social media, web channels, YouTube, etc., make historical content available to the audience and the readers. So, here in that, the first one is the radio. Radio, now the history of radio, that is, it was first started in the name of the IBC, that is Indian Broadcasting Company. Okay, and that time only one channel was there, first one to broadcast the daily programs. Okay, it was the first one. Then the later on it was taken over by the British government, named as the Indian State Broadcasting Service, that is ISBC. But later on, that is on 8th June 1936, it was named as All India Radio. But after the independence, when it came under Integral Ministry of Information, integral part of Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, it was named as the Akashvani, which was suggested by Pandit Narendra Sharma. So Akashvani, that time they used to create the many awareness program, information, literacy programs, reading and writing. They also used to show the Vividha Bharati program, that which was into various languages, that is 24 regional languages, as well as in 146 dialects. So you can imagine how much the government that time they were taking the initiative for creating the awareness. And slowly now you can see that the radio has has came up with the various channels, that is the Radio Mirchi and all. Okay, this was all about the radio. Then we completed the television part. Television, which was named as the Delhi Doordarshan Center, which was inaugurated by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, the first Indian president. Okay, and Doordarshan's Mumbai Center began telecast its program on 1st May 1972. So please, students, mark that when was the first program was started. That was 1st May 1972. Later on, the color television started introducing it. The first time it was introduced on 15th August 1982. And by 1991, the private channels also started getting the a permission that they can also start the channel. So students, you can imagine from the one channel, that is Doordarshan, we have reached out till 500 channels. Okay, so and then here, that is the why do we need mass media. We have seen the history, the various modes, that is a newspaper, magazine, radio, television, but why we need, what is the requirement? Here we need mass media to facilitate free flow of information to all strata of society. Editorials, various columns and supplements are essential part of newspaper. Readers are also ensured of platform to voice their opinions. Newspaper can help in making the democracy stronger. So the first intention, that each and every person should get the information with free flow of information to all the strata of society, all the strata of society, that is all the sections of the society. And here there are the various columns of the newspapers which caters to everyone's needs and requirements. For example, if a person is interested into finance or investment, he can read the Economic Times, or a person can read the news of their surrounding, or if the person needs entertainment, they can also see to it. So it caters to all section of the society, all level, all the classes. So the readers are also ensured of the platform to voice their opinions. Newspaper can help in making the democracy stronger. The very very important thing, role which is played by the newspaper, that is people can voice, people can give the opinion through newspaper to the government, right? So whether they agree, not agree, how they are finding their law, so they can convey their message through the newspaper or the mass media. Television is an audio visual medium. Yes, like for example, students, newspaper was only the visual medium, radio was only the audio medium, but television is the audio visual medium. It is possible for this to medium to cross the inherent limitation of newspaper and the radio to show the actual visions of the event to the people. So there is no other alternative to the television for watching an event as it is actually happened, right? Like for example, radio also can't show you how the things are happening, and nor newspaper can show you the direct vision how the things are happening, but television can television can directly show you how the things are happening, whether it is right or wrong. Then uh, critical understanding of the information received through the mass media, how we are analyzing the news, how we are understanding it, that is any information received through the mass media need to be reviewed critically. It is not like that whatever news you're getting, just understand, okay, read it and understand, oh, things are happening like this. No, you have to critically analyze the news. Does this news is proper, or does this news is helpful? How you have to react, you should critically review that. The news or the information in the media may not always present the exact truth. We need to scan it carefully. There is a very famous event of unauthentic information appearing in a print in Germany, that is Stern, and German weekly magazine had purchased a number of so-called handwritten diaries of Adolf Hitler. We need to scan it very carefully. We need to scan it very carefully. There is a very famous event of unauthentic information appearing in the print in Germany. Stern, a German weekly magazine, had purchased a number of so-called handwritten diaries of Adolf Hitler. It sold them to the various publication companies. The diaries were verified and subsequently the news appeared in the print. However, later those diaries were proved to be forged. It becomes apparent from these examples that we need to be very careful about the information published the media. Uh, Once upon a time in Germany, a newspaper publication company, they received this one letters, sorry, many letters. The weekly magazine company named as Stern, they got handwritten diaries, which, as they understood, it is a Adolf Hitler handwritten diary. They sold to the many publication companies, but they didn't verify whether it is authentic or not, whether it is really those diary or not. They didn't verify that, and later on it came to be known as those diaries were forged. Those diaries were uh, totally forged. And it, so from that time only people understood, yes, whatever material we are getting, whatever news we are getting, it should be verified 2 3 times and then only it should be published, right? Mass media and the professional opportunities. Now, in mass media, what are the various professional opportunities are there? That is, newspaper have to fulfill the task of providing fresh news to its readers. That it is also necessary to unfold the background of the event of the news. That is the first thing. They should give the fresh news, not the previous month ka news or the previous week ka news. It should not. The fresh news, the whatever things are happening, it should be reach out to the people, and also to unfold the background of the event in the news. It is not how the things are, you can see just printed in the newspaper. No, just try to see the what is the background, why the things happen like that. So the cause should also be printed. And at times newspaper have to resort to the history while reporting news in detail. Reporters try to compare it with the parallel events which happened in the past. The past event may be printed in a separate frame. So here newspaper also have to resort to history. History, that is reporting the news in detail. Reporters always should compare the things which are happening now, how it is related to the history, how it is related to the past. That is, you can say, the cause effect relationship. So both the things should be printed, and the reader should get the access to the additional information, and he can get the better insights of the current news. So when you're printing both the news, that is a cause also and the effect also, the reader should also get the access that they can compare the current news, the current events which are happening. Newspaper print columns about the historical information appearing under headings such as 50 years ago or the 100 years ago. Such columns are based on the historical documents or written events. These columns provide historical information about the economic, social, political events in the past and also events of the historical significance. So students, here the opportunity for the history students that is, when there are columns in the newspaper, when they are talking about during events during the independence, or the 50 years ago what happened, or the 100 years ago what happened. So history students can contribute in that. When they are giving the title of the 50 years or the 100 years ago, it deals with the economic event, social event, and the political event. So here the history gets the importance. Then the next, that is, the newspaper occasionally publish the supplements to the regular editions or special issues. It is not like that all the minor things history publish, sorry, newspaper publish. It deals with the events, like for example World War I. When it was commenced in 1914. Then the year 2014 marked as the 100th year of this event. So in 2014 we can say, oh, world war took place 100 years ago. In order to able to publish a newspaper supplement or special issues to the commemorate to the occasion, one needs to review the history. In 2017, 75 years were completed after the announcement of the Quit India movement. On such occasion, newspaper highlights the event through the various articles, editorials, column, like what happened in the history on this day, review, etc. The knowledge of the history is essential for writing such type of news. So students, here you understood that how history is helpful in the mass media, in writing the articles, how it is useful. History is very essential in planning radio programs. For example, Akashvani has preserved recordings of all the speeches delivered each year by the Prime Minister of India on 15th August. As we have seen that the radio Akashvani, which was started before independence. So this was that time they recorded the whole news, the speech which was given by the Prime Minister, and the events took place that time. Everything is recorded. So Akashvani invites the historians as the experts for discussion on the various occasions such as the anniversaries of birth or death of the national leaders, anniversaries of historical events, etc. Lectures on the contribution of the various national leaders need to be supported by the historical information programs like On This Day in History are also an integral part of the daily programs of Akashvani. So here, as Akashvani have preserved all the details, all the events they have recorded. So what they do on that particular day, they call out that related person, the resource person, and request him or her to speak on that. Right. Then so again that is the history background person only. Then the television channels also telecast the programs based on the history. Doordarshan and the television channels helps in creating interest in history among people through the historical shows and serials. Mithra also, that is here again, like similarly radio television program also on that day they call out the person with the day which is related to history. They arrange programs for that. Then the mythological and the historical serials like Ramayana and Mahabharata, Bharat Ek Khoj, and Raja Shiv Chhatrapati attracted a very large audience. While producing this type of programs, maintaining accuracy with regard to the presentation and of the environment, outfits, weaponry, lifestyles, lingual expression, etc. is essential. One needs to have a deep understanding of the history to the concerned period. So here again, when the mythological stories are there, or the stories of the king, right? So that time again, the history background people have a very important role about the costumes, about their stories, about the language, culture, everything. So they play an important role. Currently, channels like Discovery, National Geographic, History, etc., have opened a rich treasure of global history for audience. It has enabled people to view the historical and the geographic wonders at home. To make such programs more entertaining, some parts of the serial are actually enacted by the actors, such as characters of heroic men and women, sportsmen, army chief, etc. So, besides from these serials, they're about the ancient monuments, forts, history of empires, and also the history of culinary art are watched by the large number of people. Here, students, that is again, they also history channel shows about the history of monuments, forts, then the empires, and also the culinary art. Culinary art, that was the cooking, how the food were there, in which empire, which kind of food, and other cultures, their habits, everything. All these are showed. Again, history background students plays very important role over here. So people with a deep knowledge of history in the respective field are sought out in all the fields mentioned in the this part. Okay, so students, here we have completed the revision of this mass media chapter. So it's my humble request, anyone, any doubt, any question, any query you have, please raise your hand and ask. Yes, students, please raise your hand, any doubt, any question if you have. Yes, nobody is having doubts. Okay. Okay, ma'am, shall we stop over here?